Hi, it's Michael Senoff with Michael Senoff's HardToFindSeminars.com. The title of this interview is called How to Use Credibility and Experience, Yours or Someone Else's, to Make Money with Audio Marketing Secrets. It doesn't matter what business you're thinking about getting into, it's always easier and more lucrative to go where you've already got credibility and experience. And in this Audio Marketing Secrets consultation, you'll hear from someone who's been in the pharmaceutical sales industry for over 25 years, but is looking for a plan B in case things go south. So you'll hear my suggestions on the many ways he can use audio marketing to capitalize on his expertise and stay with his chosen industry. But you'll also hear how to find and use someone else's expertise, credibility, and even products simply by paying them a small percentage of your profits. I've been doing it for years, and in this audio, I'll show you exactly how. You'll also hear a very simple tactic for creating and packaging information products tailored to a specific niche. You'll hear a 5-second exercise to do when making products that will help you get into the mind of your prospects. You'll hear how to use a website effectively to support your products. You'll hear examples of products to make that will highlight your expertise. You'll learn ways to take the sting out of grunt work by building a low-cost team to surround you. You'll hear key strategies for finding experts willing to license their products to you. You'll learn how to approach them and what kind of deal to offer. You'll learn the exact deals I've made for many of the products on my site. When it comes to making money in business, having credibility is key. So if you're an expert in a given field, there are certain proven ways you can highlight your expertise and market to industry insiders. But even if you're not, you can still make money by licensing products from an expert who's no longer interested in hustling his own products. They usually jump at the chance to make extra money with little effort, and in this audio, you'll hear all about it. Now let's get going.
We're for a biopharmaceutical company.
How long have you been with them?
Been with them about 5 years now. When I saw you, it was right before I actually went over to this stuff. I got recruited over there. You know, I was kind of thinking a lot of different options at the time, but I was working for somebody else and was looking at different options, and these guys approached me. It was a good opportunity, and got over there, and a couple years in, they promoted me to Vice President of Sales. So I run the whole nation for our business unit, about $320 million in sales that we do.
How many reps were out there?
Remotely, I have about 140 people. That includes the managers as well.
So you've been working your ass off.
Yeah, you know, so I'm in the office a lot. I travel once a week up to Boston. I'm usually up there like 3 days. So I'm sort of in Cambridge 3 days a week, and back here on Mondays and Fridays is typically what I try to keep, you know, in Charlotte. It's been a great company, quite frankly. I've enjoyed the type of work I do. It's just at some point the grind kind of starts to get to you. The other piece of it is there's a company looking at our company right now.
May get bought out.
Yeah, we may get bought out. That's not necessarily a bad thing for me. Some good things would happen under that scenario, but you never know. And it certainly is going to disrupt. As I said, I like the culture of the company, I like the business, but it's going to change.
Yeah, you have to have a plan B.
That's it.
So look, when you just came over there, you were thinking of consulting with Howie's thing. That was your plan B for the time being.
That was sort of my plan B. I was looking at that as an option, and then, you know, what happens really, got a good opportunity, pursued it. It's been a good run. I can't complain, make good money, all that kind of good stuff. Where I've sort of landed is I really like to try to develop something in the interim, some sort of maybe passive stream of income, whether it's information products or whatever, something that I could do and kind of get built up, and then maybe transition to it and take it as big or small as I want to later on, whether it's consulting, coaching, remotely, you know, whatever. So that's kind of where my thinking is, where my head is.
I think it's a good idea.
I think the hard thing is kind of focusing in on where I should go with this. That's kind of, I thought I'd pick your brain a little bit.
Well, you always want to go where you've got some credibility and experience, and you being national sales manager for that pharmaceutical company, you could leverage a lot of that. How well did you do if you were to compare it with other pharmaceutical companies or other sales teams? I mean, is there a way to measure your performance?
Yeah, I tracked a number of what I would characterize as standard sales metrics that you could benchmark across comparable companies and industries, things such as revenue per representative, revenue growth over time, selling costs as a percentage of revenue, all of that kind of stuff, and turnover rates, et cetera. There's a lot of different metrics you could look at. So I think to share those with someone broadly, they would be impressed with the way we've done over the last several years.
How do you feel about, like, packaging something like that something specifically niche to whether you package something for national sales managers or even the pharmaceutical companies themselves, where you offered some kind of info product to start out with on how to sell more pharmaceutical products, just through your experience. At what point were you national sales manager? How many years ago?
That was 3 years ago.
I mean, how much have you learned in the last 3 years?
Oh, tremendous amount.
Then you could probably talk in your sleep because you've been doing it.
I certainly thought about that. So if I targeted VP national sales directors, national sales managers in pharmaceuticals or medical sales, whatever, I mean, how would you go after them? What sort of mechanism might you use on a website?
You certainly want a website as support documentation, and when people want to check someone out, they're going to hit Google and type your name in, so you want a place for them to land. But you can go after them. I mean, you can get that as a mailing list. I mean, you can target right in on those guys through direct mail. It could be a series of letters or postcards. You can put a CD or a data stick or do some creative mailing, but you got to outline what is it these guys want, what's keeping them awake at night. Only you would probably know that best, and you approach them with the shortcut to their problems.
So I think that's a great path, and I've thought about something along that same path. And so here's my concern with that path is developing that prior to leaving my organization, is that, I don't think my current employer.
Look, it's plan B. You'd have to keep that on the lowdown, develop the product and have it all ready. You could certainly design the website and have it all offline and just have it ready in case. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that may be the answer, because there is some work to do, right?
Yeah, you're going to have some work to do.
Maybe the plan is to kind of get that going in the background, get that sort of prep for the potentiality that you want to release that.
I mean, aren't there people targeting into either pharmaceutical reps or...
Oh, absolutely.
Who are some of the big names within that industry, the information product marketers marketing to that niche?
It's interesting. I would characterize it as what's more active in that niche. So like the people calling on me, like are ringing my phone all the time, trying to get me, are more sort of what I characterize as consultants. So I don't necessarily think they have a package. They have, I'm sure, some off-the-shelf sort of work they do, but they want to come in and sort of customize it for you. So there's not anyone selling sort of a kit in a box, if you will.
Well, the credibility is everything. The pharmaceutical company, how well known are they?
Oh, they're very well known.
Who do you think's going to end up buying them out? And are they humongous?
Huge.
Everyone knows them?
Everybody knows them.
Okay, so you got one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies wanting to gobble them up. That's all credibility for you. Yep. And when you say you worked with these guys, you were on the inside. That credibility is what is so valuable.
I speak occasionally at industry forums where I'm the expert, if you will, to talk about a topic. I'm speaking at one in November, as an example. Part of my thinking was along that same line of sort of building credibility and credibility indicators. That was one of the things I've been trying to do.
Yeah, so you don't want to waste it. I mean, you've been in it for 5 years, and you can use that for your marketing. Compare that to, like, deciding to go sell something that you have no credibility or experience in.
Yeah. I'd love to leverage, what I've learned. So I've been in this industry for 25 years now, so I know the industry well at all different levels. Starting out as a rep through, all the chains of management up to the top of the heap,
Do you see some other opportunities within the industry other than creating information products or offering consulting with the industry?
I mean, those are the two that I've been thinking about. The other sort of thought, kind of a branch of the tree, if you will, is taking some of the more generic skill and sort of marketing them more generically, which, again, I know having a niche is typically better than sales management training or sales management skills, probably a better way to go. But that's one of the things I think I've struggled with is, frankly, I have a lot of skills and experience having done this for some period of time, and they're related to sales and sales management, but that's a broad topic. What I've struggled with is sort of narrowing that down if I want to branch outside of the pharmaceutical industry. So that was one of the other things I've been thinking about.
Who are some of your star salespeople? Did you have some 1%ers, 2%ers?
Over the years, certainly I've had those.
Could you identify how they were getting those kind of results? Give me an example. I mean, is there one guy who's just killing it?
Yeah, one guy that I'm thinking of, and his ability to connect with people was just off the chart. To go from no relationship to having the person trust him by the time he walks out of the office was just unreal. He was just real direct, and immediately you sort of warmed up to the guy. He just had a way about him that he could connect. And he also had a pretty strategic plan about the way he wanted to run his territory, run his business.
Is he still with you?
No, he works for a different company now.
What made him leave?
This was at a different company prior to coming here. He left for what he perceived to be a bigger earnings opportunity for him.
And how much better did he do compared to the other sales reps?
We call the top elite positions for the President's Club every year. He was always in the President's Club. You can make it one year. It's hard to do it year after year after year, and he always did.
For more exclusive interviews on business, marketing, advertising, and copywriting, go to Michael Senoff's hardtofindseminars.com. You know, you could approach him or other people within the industry to support what you're doing. You know who the best of the best is, and you can approach them and kind of make them a star. You don't have to pay them anything. You could interview them, or, interview would be a good idea to package and build the value of what you're doing. That's an idea, too, because you got all these sales reps. A lot of them are struggling. They don't know how to connect, and some advice from someone like that could be real valuable.
That would be a good information product to offer.
Yeah. If it's info product, it's recordings, it's transcripts, it could be cheat sheets. It's all the stuff that I talk about in that audio marketing secrets. Not hard to do at all. You just got to do it. That's all.
I think sometimes I get myself wound up around the axle thinking about, I don't know how to build a website, so I know others can do.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Just remember Craigslist, okay? You just say, I don't know how to build a website. I'm looking for someone to help me.
Yep.
I'm right here. Email me back if you got some website jobs. And, I still do that. That's what I do.
Yeah. Like all that content on your website, all those audio interviews and all that stuff, do you have somebody sort of behind the scenes?
Absolutely. I have a transcriber who probably for 7 years she's been transcribing my interviews. I've got an editor, almost a full-time personal assistant, and she does all the editing after I do the interview. I send it to her, and she does all the fine editing, then she sends it back, and I'll clean it up just a little bit. She's now putting the buttons on the site. Then I have a writer who I'll send the edited recording to. They'll write the intros and the headlines and the descriptions, and then I'll put it up there. But all that's farmed out now. I had an assistant who came in today for a couple hours. I've got another girl who I just met off Craigslist. She's building some new pages for me from her house. I get to kind of relax, and I'm managing them, kind of like you'll manage your sales force. I got to make sure I know what to give them to do. I tell them what to do. I sometimes got to check their work, and I kind of put it all together. But yeah, all the grunt work and the busy work, you farm it out, because I'm not good at that stuff.
Nor do I like doing that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, you got to delegate it, and it's all good money. It's an investment. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Just sort of watching your success from the sidelines, too.
I'm just going to keep doing it. That's all. Another idea, if you don't want to, invest the time in creating and developing your own information product, find an expert within the industry who may even have more credibility than you, maybe at one time offered something to the pharmaceutical industry but isn't doing it any longer, and license it. Just like the current marketing consulting course I've been selling since the end of 2004, I'm not the expert. A guy named Richard, he had this stuff already developed, and I just approached him and licensed it. And that'll save you all the time. If everything goes smooth, you probably won't do this, but I know you want something just in case.
Yeah.
That would be a shortcut. So you can kind of kick back and think to yourself, well, if they do get bought out and time is short, you could just start looking around for some experts within the field, maybe even 10 or 15 years ago, who are really stellar. Go look on Amazon, look for some pharmaceutical sales, look for books, and dig a little deeper, see if they ever had products or courses already developed. I guarantee you there are experts who had programs already put together. They're probably maybe weren't internet savvy or aren't doing anything with it, and you could inquire about it and maybe just pick up a license and control the whole thing and just pay a royalty, just like a book publisher.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I've been approached by at least one firm recently. They want me to come sort of work for them, but it'd be really more working for myself, but using their content. Of course, they get some piece of that. It's actually kind of interesting for the same reasons, the shortcut in the sense that they have content that I embrace. Actually, I've used them to do a project for me. So that's another option, too.
Hi, it's Michael Senoff with hardtofindseminars.com. Thanks for watching this video. Many of my interviews last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, sometimes even up to 2.5 hours long. They're actual mini seminars, and you've just listened to a short sample of just one of over 117 hours of exciting, hard-hitting, mind-blowing interviews on how to make money in direct mail, advertising, copywriting. I assure you There is not a resource anywhere on the internet or on the planet that comes close to the free information I provide at hardtofindseminars.com. So go right now to hardtofindseminars.com and you'll have free access to 117 hours of audio interviews with typed word-for-word downloadable transcripts and downloadable MP3 files. Please browse some more of the videos or go right directly to hardtofindseminars.com. Thanks for watching.